crispy butter chicken. I'm talking about a crispy panko chicken smothered in a creamy Indian butter sauce. It's to die for. Hey everyone, I'm Flo, Dude is behind the camera, and we're all about simple food, simple faith. Now I know traditionally butter chicken is just chicken that's cooked in a butter sauce, and I have a friend, an Indian friend, who was completely appalled by the fact that I'm making a butter sauce to go with a crispy chicken, but it really is delicious. This was inspired by one of our local celebrity Indian chefs. And I used to be super intimidated by Indian cooking because of all the spices, but this recipe is really very simple to make. And if you're going to try Indian food for the first time, this would be it. I'm starting off with 8 chicken thighs. And if you don't like thighs, you can use breast meat. You can cut them down if you like. I'm just going to keep the thighs whole. They're skinless, boneless. And what I find is if I season it with salt before all the breading, it actually makes the chicken taste a lot better than putting the salt within the flour or the breadcrumbs. I'm just going to season them on both sides. I have 2 tablespoons of melted butter, and I'm just going to add that to 2 cups of panko. Panko is just Japanese breadcrumbs. And I find that if I'm going to bread and bake in the oven or use the air fryer, that if I add oil straight to the panko itself, then I don't have to add any more oil as I put it in the oven. Anyways, I just think it's easier, especially because my oil mister is not working. This is the brand that I use, and I just get it at the Korean market. And it is a Korean brand, but they do call it Japanese style breadcrumbs. And I'm going to beat 2 eggs. I also have half a cup of flour, and I always find just half a cup of flour will do just fine for breading this amount of chicken. I really dislike when recipes say use a full cup of flour to bread when more than half of it actually ends up in the compost. So just lightly dredge them and try to shake off any excess flour and go straight into the egg mixture. And this is a basic breading for everything. So whether you're breading pork or chicken or prawns, this is the way to get a good crust on them. I'm doing the chicken in the air fryer today, so it's going right into the basket. You can do this in the oven, and you can just place it on a sheet pan and bake them until they're crispy. Usually it should take about half an hour to 35 minutes at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, so this was half a cup of flour. Look at all the flour I'm still wasting. Maybe next time I should start with a 1/4 cup. But can you imagine if it was a whole cup?
That'd be a lot wasted.
Yep. All right, and the panko, what I find is if you actually press the panko in a little bit, it helps to adhere the panko to the chicken. So, as some of you know, I got a new air fryer toaster oven, so that's what I'm using today. I can get 8 thighs in there at once, whereas if I was to use my little Philips air fryer, I could only do 4 at a time, and it's not even that awesome because when I put the little tray in there to give it 2 different layers, I don't get even air circulation through there. This new air fryer can do more at once, which is great for me because it just saves me a whole lot of time in the oven.
You hang out in the oven?
It saves me a whole lot of time in the kitchen. I'm setting it at 425 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'll be cooking it for 20 to 25 minutes. Okay, I'm going to start with the spices. I have 1 teaspoon of salt already in there, and add 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of coriander, and it's ground coriander, 2 teaspoons of garam masala, which is an Indian spice mix, and you can find it in most markets. And if you don't have garam masala, you can just substitute with 2 teaspoons of cumin, like 2 more teaspoons of cumin. So that's like a full tablespoon of cumin. And 1 tablespoon of paprika. I'm using a teaspoon, so 3 teaspoons make for 1 tablespoon. And then we're just going to set that aside. And we're going to mince, well, I'm just going to press actually, use the garlic press. And we're going to press 6 cloves of garlic. You can use more garlic if you like, but I find 6 is plenty.
And garlic is so romance-inducing.
You know what's not going to happen tonight. Okay, so it works out to be about 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. I also need a tablespoon of grated ginger. So I don't know if this will give me, it'll give me close enough to a tablespoon.
That doesn't look like a swollen thumb at all.
It's like a little hand. All right, it's a little bit more than a tablespoon, but that's okay. We don't mind the extra spiciness. And I didn't actually use that whole piece. Okay, heating up my pan, my saucepan, adding a 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. Okay, adding just the garlic. And we're going to cook this until the garlic is a bit sticky on the bottom of the pot.
Oh, that smell. Wow, good.
Who doesn't like garlic roasting? Not roasting, but cooking in oil or butter. Okay, so it's a little bit brown and it's kind of a little bit sticky. It only took about a minute. It doesn't take long. And we're going to add the ginger and we're going to cook it for another 30 seconds. How's that smell?
Wow. Oh, smell-o-vision, where are you?
I should have mentioned that just heat it on like medium, about medium heat, not too high. Otherwise your garlic will burn and you don't want it to burn. Just want it to cook. Now adding the tomato paste. It's a whole can. It's 156 mils or 5.5 ounces. This is the only time I'm actually able to use a full can of tomato paste. Okay, we're going to cook this for about 4 minutes. Sorry, also adding all of the spices plus the salt into the tomato paste and then cooking for 4 minutes. Oh, it smells amazing right now with all the spices. It looks like it could be really spicy, but it really isn't. The only thing that's adding some heat is the ginger. But if you want it spicy, you can add some red chili flakes or chili powder. Like Indian chili powder, not like Mexican chili powder. Adding 1 cup of chicken broth. Scrape up the bottom of the pot. Just going to heat this through. And 1 cup of whipping cream. I once took an Indian cooking class and someone in the class asked the teacher, "Is it okay to substitute the whipping cream with milk?" And she's like, "What? Then what is the point of butter chicken?" She was not impressed. So if you can, use whipping cream. Otherwise, I mean, really, I would probably, if I was more conscious about how much fat was going into the dish, I would maybe try using like half and half. But you're not eating the whole pot yourself.
Well, speak for yourself.
All right, this is basically it. Just waiting for it to completely heat through, kind of bring it up to just before it starts to simmer and turn off the heat. So when the chicken is done and the sauce is done, I usually serve the chicken on the side with the sauce in a bowl, so you can add as much as you like. We're serving it with naan tonight, but you can always serve it with basmati rice, and it is just amazing. And I know you guys are all so ready for...
Yup.
One of the cuisines that we love having anywhere is Indian food. We haven't gone out very much, maybe just one time to dine out as a family, and that was just for some afternoon treat, dessert. So what does that mean? That Flo has to cook these dishes at home because we haven't been getting takeout that much either. This is one of our favorites. The kids love it, and they've been asking for it. We probably go through like a couple of bowlfuls, I do anyways, and dipping that naan in there, dipping the chicken in there, and just smothering the rice if we had the basmati on the side here. So let's check out the chicken. It being done in the KitchenAid oven, toaster oven, convection oven fryer. It's been doing a pretty good job. The panko is crispy. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Crispy. Chicken is looking pretty moist. I don't know if you can see that, guys. All right, let's dip it in here. Oh yeah. It just smothers it. Just covers it so nicely. Coats it. Ready to go. Wow, dude, that's good. Chicken is moist. You get the contrast with the crispy panko, smothered in that complex and not spicy at all. It's just a deep, rich flavor, creamy sauce, the buttered chicken sauce. You know what? You haven't heard of crispy butter chicken? Now you have. Good.
That's it. Thanks, dude. I hope you saw how easy that was to make using just simple ingredients that you may already have at home to make butter chicken. If you would like a more traditional version of butter chicken, check it out. I will see you over there.